Rigathi Gachagua had told Kenyans that he was not going to resign. And he said he had got faith in the Senate. But he added that in the unlikely event that the Senate would not serve him justice, then the window of visiting the judiciary would still be very open. Justice Philomena Mwilu, the Deputy Chief Justice, said they were very ready and that in the event that that case would get into their desk, then they would deal with it in accordance with the Constitution. As it was, the National Assembly and the Senate did not serve Rigathi Gachagua justice, and so he headed straight to the courts of justice. Now, William Ruto on his side was also doing his politics. Immediately, Rigathi Gachagua was impeached at the Senate. They immediately gazetted that process, thereby rendering Rigathi Gachagua a civilian. And today, William Ruto had nominated KindiKi, and the name went to the National Assembly. They hurriedly passed it. But before I look at the process in the court, before I look at the pronouncement of the judge that nullified or suspended, let me use the right terms. The judge issued conservatory orders suspending the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua and extending that suspension to the newly appointed Deputy President Abraham Kithure Kindiki. Now, before we look at that, lawyer Otiende Amollo cautioned Parliament today because there was a lot of exuberance in that chamber. They were overwhelmed by the mere fact that Abraham Kithure Kindiki had been proposed. So, in the process, they were saying that going by the mood in the chambers, they were saying that they would simply vote by acclamation, or rather, just by the ayes have it and the nays have it. You remember when they say, may the contrary opinion say nay, but Otiende Amollo rose to the occasion because he watched what was happening in the parliament and he told them, guys, I know we are very excited. I know we are very happy. But remember, we are not doing this for ourselves. We must ensure that we meet the constitutional threshold in everything that we do. Let us not leave any window that can backfire on us. And he convinced the parliamentarians that they should vote electronically because Otiende is always very sober, and he watched them and he told them, if we mess, then it is going to backfire on us. And he told them, even as we speak, this case is in court and the judges are watching.
Honorable members, I know this is a serious moment in history. It is also a constitutional moment. I wholly agree with the Honorable Wanjala, Honorable Ruku, in terms of the mood of the House. However, Mr. Speaker, there are things we need to do for the record, not just for ourselves. Even as we speak, this whole process is being challenged in court. We need not allow any gap, because so far, from the start to now, we have not allowed any gap. Let us not be in a rush to allow a gap. I beseech members, let us vote electronically. It does not take time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, let's not open debate on this. Electronic voting takes less than 5 minutes. I'm sure you know this. So since the House is nearly full, let's have the division bell rung for just 5 minutes. Then we draw the bar, you log in, and we call out the vote. And the majority leader and minority leader nominate one person each to act as tellers. Then with those who don't have cards, I said, you record at the table with the clerks.
Now that was lawyer Otiende Amollo. Now, it is recorded that there is relief for Rigathi Gachagua as court suspends Senate impeachment. The High Court has suspended the Senate resolution to uphold former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment motion held on Thursday, October 17th. In a ruling delivered on Friday, Justice Chacha Mwita cited that the Gachagua's petition raised pertinent issues of law and public interest. He issued a conservatory order staying the implementation of the impeachment charges, including the appointment of his replacement until October 24th, 2024, when the matter will be mentioned before the court. Now, this is what he said, that due to the significance of issues raised in the petition and application, I certify this matter as raising substantial questions of law and public interest, and therefore fit to be heard by a bench of an even number of judges to be appointed by the Honorable Chief Justice. The file be placed before the Honorable Chief Justice immediately for consideration in that regard. Through his counsel, Gachagua filed a petition seeking to bar President William Ruto from filling the position. He cited the hurried nature in which Parliament has rushed to conclude the impeachment process and replace him. Now, politics is really very dynamic. These are two people, Rigathi Gachagua and William Ruto, are two people who really told us they would work together. They would not, victimize each other. William Ruto saying that he would not allow his deputy to be subjected to humiliation. Rigathi on his hand was telling us that they would have so much to do to Kenyans that they would not even have any little time wasted in quarreling the way Ruto and Uhuru used to be. And now they are fighting it in court. You can imagine that Rigathi is fighting for his political life in court. The question that many are asking, let's assume that the court reinstates Rigathi Gachagua. This is a marriage and they're in a house. How will they work? It is like a marriage where two people have been forced to live together. But then, luckily for him, he will work for the people, maybe consolidate more of his Murima, maybe talk more about, I don't like things like demolition and all this. But ladies and gentlemen, the manner in which this thing was hurried is really wanting and is really worrying. I understand that what William Ruto wanted is that on Monday, on a Mashujaa Day, he wanted to unveil officially Kithure KindiKi. He was taking the man he was given. In fact, sometimes you blame William Ruto. If William Ruto had picked Kithure KindiKi, maybe we wouldn't have been where we are today. But he chose Rigathi Gachagua. This is why many people feel that this is a bed that William Ruto prepared. He should lie on it. Watu walipiga kura na akaambiwa chukua Kithure KindiKi. Na yeye na ujanja wake anasema mimi nataka Rigathi Gachagua. No, some people say that Rigathi bullied his way. Yes, whatever it was, the bottom line is people voted more than once. And in all those occasions, Kithure KindiKi defeated Rigathi Gachagua. So if William Ruto knew very well that there were traits or reasons why he chose Rigathi over KindiKi, he should not subject this. He should not be burdening Kenyans with those issues and titles and headlines about their differences. They should, I still hold the opinion that they should be working together. Holier than thou issue, that now we are sanitizing one side of the presidency and crucifying the other. No. I, personally, kufa dereva, kufa makanga, because there is no way you can tell us that you practice shareholding, but the other person talks about it, so the person who talks about it is more sinful than the person who practices. No. Even in the Bible that William Ruto reads, faith without action is dead. Between the two people who is practicing it is William Ruto. I mean, actions speak louder than words. It is really embarrassing to us that a government that came promising that they wanted to work for the people of Kenya, have now, taken more time in wrangles, more time in supremacy battle. It's not good. The opposition is dead. That is what William Ruto wanted, and that is why he got the impetus to and the audacity to punish his deputy. Had Raila not gotten into that government, William Ruto did not have the numbers. I don't know whether if at all Rigathi Gachagua is going to come back. If there is one thing that Rigathi must be cautioned about, because there are no two ways about it. I cannot see a deputy party leader being paid by taxpayers' money. He is the deputy president of Kenya, not of Mount Kenya. In as much as he believes that charity begins at home, he should show, because politics is all about perception. He must show that he is as much concerned about issues bedeviling other areas, just like he's so much concerned about issues bedeviling his area. If you ask me, Rigathi should have been given censure motion instead of removing him. Sometimes people learn, like what he has gone through today. If at all the courts will reinstate him, I expect Rigathi Gachagua to learn and to ensure, because learning is a process until we die. From where I sit, I still believe that Rigathi is a tribal leader. I don't know. I still believe that he's a tribal leader, but he needs to change. But I also believe that all politicians are tribal, beginning from the top, the way appointments have been made. Permanent secretaries, state officers, ambassadorial positions. I believe that the number one tribalist, the number one person who is practicing shareholding in practice, not just in words, is William Samoei Ruto. No wonder even Cherargei Samson, the senator of Nandi, voted to save Rigathi Gachagua. Why? Not because Rigathi is good, but because Ruto is bad. I want you to get the difference. Those who are trying to save Rigathi are not saving Rigathi because he's good. He's being saved because Ruto is bad. Both of them. People feel that we cannot, selectively apply law. It must apply to both of them. As for KindiKi, and if Rigathi is not careful, William Ruto will go ahead and swear KindiKi. I read somewhere where Ahmed Nasir is saying that the court suspended the appointment, not the swearing in. And he was saying that the appointment came before the court orders, and therefore tomorrow you will see KindiKi being sworn in. And when you see him talk, I can assure you that those could be the legal minds, pushing William Samoei Ruto. So if you're not careful, William Ruto had even declared that he would not obey court orders. So you might be surprised that tomorrow Kithure will be sworn in.